Good morning and welcome to Life Hacks for Lasting Love. Welcome back. My name's Steve. This is my beautiful wife Lyn. Today we want to talk about the hardest time, what we consider to be the hardest time in our lives. It's when we had the most work, the least time for each other, and the least money. And that time is toddlers. We did really well. When we were first married, Lyn had 2 jobs and I had 3, and we had a really good time going on. We bought a house, Lyn got pregnant, maybe it might have been the other order, but then there was a downturn in the building industry, so I landed up with 1 job, and because Lyn was so pregnant she had no job, and then the interest rates went up to 18.5%, and it was tough. And then into the mix we got a toddler.
Well, a baby first.
A baby first, yeah. I guess we were sort of coming out the other end of it, because it was a very hard time. Our first was a ball of energy. He was just into everything. He would race around and then collapse, and then wake up and race around again. But it was worth it. He's grown into a reasonable sort of man now.
He certainly is. We're very proud of him.
But those toddler years are really difficult.
And I see a lot of couples who have children, and we're now even watching our daughter with her children and just seeing the pressure parenthood puts onto a relationship, and it makes us remember ours as well. And I really had a client actually once say they feel like they're in the spin cycle of a washing machine. And I thought that was the most perfect analogy, because during those early parenthood years, when you've got the toddlers and everything, you feel like you're wrung out until you've just got nothing left. And you wonder if the spin cycle's ever going to stop. And if you try to stop the spin cycle in most machines, it won't stop. And being able to just remind parents that this too will pass, and eventually, just like the washing machine finishes, you get to hang out the clothes, your kids will get past that toddler stage. But it is a hard stage.
It is a hard stage, and if you've got sort of one after the other within a year and a half of each other, that spin cycle feels like it goes forever. But as Lyn said, it does pass.
I remember when I was pregnant with our first, I was hanging out nappies on the line, and Steve said to me...
This was before we had disposable nappies. We were that old.
Steve said to me, "How long is this going to last?"
And she said, "Oh, it'll last about 2 years." Well, I think it was 12 years later.
12 years later. But having had 4 children, it certainly did last a long time. And so really one of the things is that, and I do hear it, it's everyone's feeling overwhelmed. Mums, it's so hard when you come home from hospital, you're already, you've gone through labour, you've got this little one you're now having to be totally responsible for, your body's going through all the hormonal changes after having birth and everything, and your husband too.
And you've got a sookie lala husband who feels like he's been through it, and he's not getting any attention at all, and they're just big kids really. It doesn't change. Oh, come on, look at the toys that they get. Men don't grow up, they just get more and more expensive toys. It seems to be the case. Yeah, so the guy's feeling lost and alone because he can't do anything with the baby with you. He can be there for you, but because you're on constant call, he's only second fiddle. And probably third, because mum's got to look after the baby and then herself. And Mr. Third Fiddle, who is used to being in charge and being the man around the house and being number 1 on the priority list, to suddenly the bloody dog's higher on the priority list than you are.
No, the dog's outside with the first. It's okay. But it is hard. It changes your relationship so quickly. So, that first couple of months after bringing baby home, again, it's about sort of going, how do we help each other? We talked in our last episode about, obviously each giving 50% each into the relationship. And look, there's lots of different equations out there. I think you give your best into a relationship, and we were just talking at a mathematical level. But it's really important that, even when you've got your little one, that you make time to reconnect with your husband and your partner.
Tough. It is tough, but do the investment stuff. Put the time in, do the conversations, make the effort. Sometimes it feels like you're beating your head against the proverbial wall, but For your relationship to work, it's what you need.
And really, some of the things that we did, we found some really practical things that we found that every second Saturday morning we'd make it that each of us could have a sleep in because you're busy. You're getting up overnight with kids, you've got things on. So we actually decided.
We did.
Yeah, so.
It was great. You'd know that once a fortnight you had the right to sleep in. It was pretty cool.
And sleep in for me was 8 o'clock in the morning. But I also meant that,
I
at
didn't
this
have the milk
stage,
bottles.
we had the two little ones. I could actually plan to maybe go to the hairdressers or just go for a walk. Because you know what? For mums, it's really hard as well. We're used to being independent. We're used to being able to have freedom. And all of a sudden, you don't either. And it's hard to ask. So really important as mums, ask your partner to step up. Tell them how you want that. Like I know for me, I just like to know I had a couple of hours once a fortnight on a Saturday morning where I could think about me and prepare for it too.
And here was an argument we had over that one as well. Don't do hints. Guys don't do hints. We don't understand hints. If you want it, ask for it. If you want it, tell us that's what you want. Don't give us hints. We don't get it. We just don't do hints. Oh, and we don't mind read either.
No, they don't read. And they don't read body language. So really just request what it is that you want.
Yeah, you say it's fine, it's fine. That's good. Even though we know it's not fine. It's up to you. You call it.
So one of the things I do actually say about assertiveness is that you have the right to request what it is you would like with the hope that 80% of the time your needs will be met. Because really life's life. We can't get 100% all the time. But, request. Ask what it is that you would like. Let your partner know. Let others know. And be happy when they can and understand when they can't.
It's a fair and reasonable way of looking at it. Surviving with small children is probably the important part. You don't have to thrive. Your money is going to be very, very tight. You'll be spending it on the kids, things you're not used to. Survival is pretty important. Kids are hard work.
But they're worth it.
Yeah, and they're worth it. And they're worth it, some of them anyway. Come on, we kept having kids until I found one I liked. You know that. And number 4 child is here behind the camera.
So really, it is important that you parent together, that you ask. Sometimes just being able to say, hey, can you take the baby for a walk in the pram? It might be really important so that you can just have a shower. Don't think they know how to help you. You need to ask how it is that you might want help. You might want them just to do the dishes. What is it that you want?
Speak it out. Speak it out. Talk it out. Work on it. Work with it.
And do know that the kids will get older. But this time, don't lose each other in amongst it. Actually be there to support each other. And, take time to have time. I hear and you read books that says make sure you have a date night. Sometimes, and I'll talk to couples go, well, that's impossible. We don't have babysitters or we don't have family around. And you know what? We talked in one of our other episodes about how important our morning ritual is, that we have our coffee together. It's doing that once a week. Find time just to even pretend to have a date night at home. Once the kids have gone to bed, light the candles, sit down and have a chat. Maybe have an ice cream together.
For someone who goes to bed very early, that's a great call. What we did was we would get up early. We're both morning people. We'd get up at 5 and spend an hour before one of the kids would get up. And the toddlers would come and just climb up onto our knee and sit, and we could still talk and have coffee. It was a bit of an ask, but not that much. And we got that hour just together. And when the kids did wander in, they weren't being typhoons or cyclones or I hope they don't see that.
I'm sure they will. Yeah. One thing I remember a lady had said to me when I was in the hospital having our 4th, she said, don't worry about the handprints on the wall. Don't worry about, whether or not there's dust on the books. But instead, take time to just be with your kids because they grow up so quickly. And soon your house will be clean and very, very quiet. There'll be no kids running around. And you'll almost
that worked out for us.
You'll almost wish that there was handprints on the wall. And so knowing that eventually the kids do grow up, they will leave home. You'll both have each other back like we have each other
Yeah.
now, and that's another learning sometimes too for couples.
And we've got a whole new set of prints on the walls, which we love. But that's a topic for another day. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you taking the effort. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.